wargamers, this is Justin from AMPServices, and today we're going to be reviewing the Upsilon class shuttle. Generally I refer to this as Kylo Ren shuttle because it is the ship that he was in Force Awakens. So let's jump right in here and discuss the ship. Starting with the dials here, it looks pretty standard for large ship dials with the maneuverability. I think it is much appreciated that it can do hard 1, hard 2s, and hard 3s, despite the fact that the 1s and 3s are red. At least it's got a decent mix, I suppose, of stressful and stress removing maneuvers. You know, it's got 5 red and 4 green. It doesn't give it too much versatility there, I suppose, but it could be worse. One of the things I do want to point out, though, it is the first non-epic ship in the game to have the coordinate action. What this lets this ship do is it can take its action and coordinate, and pick a friendly ship, and I believe it's range 1 to 3, and it might be 1 to 2. So if you know for a fact, go ahead and comment below. But it lets them take or perform a free action, which is useful. It's going to make this more of a support ship for sure. Moving on. Let's go ahead and discuss the pilots here. So, first off, we got Starkiller Base Pilot. He comes in at 30 points. He's got the focus, target lock, and coordinate actions. Standard stat line here for most large ships: 4 attack, 1 evade, 6 and 6. It's got some interesting upgrade capabilities. It's got 2 tech slots, 2 crew slots, and a system upgrade slot. So it's going to let you really kind of make this whatever kind of support ship you want it to be. If you want to tote around Vader or Palpatine or things like that, or anything else that's supportive, you can do so. You can also give it some pretty cool options with the tech and system upgrades to keep it alive, or let it do some shenanigans. So definitely pretty cool. A little bit expensive to field though, but if you're doing that, you're probably going to be fielding either some pocket aces or some cheap swarm stuff. Second in line at 31 points at pilot skill 3, we have Lieutenant Dormitz. His pilot skill ability reads: during setup, friendly ships may be placed anywhere in the play area at range 1 to 2 of you. Dumb. Super dumb in a good way, in my opinion. You want to deploy this guy first, and then throw all your TIE fighters, if you're running a swarm, out in front of them within range 1 to 2. Essentially, this is going to get it to where you could potentially engage your opponent a turn sooner, and you know for a fact you're going to have your Upsilon class shuttle safely behind your TIE fighter screen, doing its support things, giving out free actions, whatever it wants, from relative safety, because they're going to have to chew through those TIE fighters to get to you, or ignore them to try and make shots at you at probably range 3. Very interesting. Next in line at 32 points, 1 more point than Dormitz, is Major Stridan, also 1 more pilot skill. For the purpose of your actions and upgrade cards, you may treat friendly ships at range 2 to 3 as being at range 1. Again, this is really just going to drive home your support status on the Upsilon shuttle, because anything you upgrade on here is now going to be able to impact things at range 1, 2, or 3. This is definitely a support ship build. Coming in at 2 points more than the last one and 2 higher pilot skill is Kylo Ren. The first time you are hit by an attack each round, assign the I'll show you the dark side condition card to the attacker. Let's see if I can fish this out real quick. Well, let's see what this says. When this card is assigned, if it is not already in play, the player who assigned it searches the damage deck for 1 damage card with the pilot trait and may place it face up on this card, then shuffle the damage deck. When you suffer critical damage during attack, you may instead, you are instead dealt the chosen face up damage card. When there is no damage card on this card, remove it. Interesting. So you could potentially throw this out multiple times in a game and fish out the specific pilot card that you want, which I think a blinded pilot is relatively popular. So definitely pretty cool. He's expensive. He also gets the elite pilot talent slot that the previous pilot did not get. So very interesting. Cool stuff. So let's move on and look at the upgrade cards. See if I've got these in a proper order to talk about them. Nope. Let's get the crew cards with the crew. Well, that makes sense, doesn't it, Justin? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. All right. So for the title, coming in at 2 points, Kylo Ren's Shuttle. At the end of the combat phase, choose an unstressed enemy ship at range 1 to 2. Its owner must assign a stress token to it or assign a stress token to another ship at range 1 to 2 of that player controls. Not bad. I mean, throwing out stress in this game is brutal, especially if you're throwing it on aces, so that is definitely going to give you some options to stress out things for Imperials, which they lack compared to their Rebel counterparts. For the EPT slot, which we get 2 of these, we get Snapshot. It comes in at 2 points and it reads, after an enemy ship executes a maneuver, you may perform this attack against that ship. Attack one ship. You cannot modify your attack dice and cannot attack again this phase. I think the interesting thing here is you want to get up in someone's face with this because it's only range 1. But after they perform a maneuver, if they're in range 1 of you, you get to attack them. The big deal is this is out of phase. So on your lower pilot skill ships, this is interesting because they will actually get to make, granted it is only 2 attack dice, but they'll get to attack with 2 attack dice before anyone else goes. Very interesting. And when your TIE fighters only have 2 attack dice anyway, this basically is allowing them to shoot outside the phase, and the only thing they're losing is the potential additional attack dice of being at range 1. Very cool, very interesting. It's interesting how they're, breaking the standard combat phases of the game, because that's outside of normal combat. Got a crew card here, General Hux, Imperial only. You may recall his face from the movie. It reads, action, choose up to 3 friendly ships at range 1 to 2, assign 1 focus token to each of those ships, and assign the Fanatical Devotion condition card to one of them, then receive 1 stress. Let's check out what Fanatical Devotion does. When defending, you cannot spend focus tokens. Okay. When attacking, if you spend a focus token to change all focus results to hit results, set aside the first focus result that you change. Then set aside the attack results. The set aside attack result or damage result cannot be canceled by defense dice, but the defender may cancel crit results before it. Interesting. So essentially, Fanatical Devotion is going to make it to where you can't defend yourself well, but you can force damage through. Very interesting. I think the other super cool thing with this, and because I've been doing reviews all day, we're going to reach over here and we're going to grab one of the cool things from the TIE Striker, I think it was, and give you guys a little sneak peek of some tactics that we may talk about later. If you use General Hux in conjunction with Swarm Leader, let's just give us a quick read and you'll probably understand why. In performing a primary weapon attack, choose up to 2 other friendly ships that have the defender inside their firing arcs at range 1 to 3. His ability works at range 1 to 2, so keep things close. That have the defender inside the firing arcs 1 to 3. Yep. Remove 1 evade token from each chosen ship to roll 1 additional attack die for each token removed. So long as you are escorting your TIE Swarm with your shuttle, if your shuttle, which would be Kylo Ren at that point with the EPT, is running Swarm Leader, you got the General Hux, you activate this, throw out a whole bunch of extra focus, activate Swarm Leader, and now your Upsilon shuttle is now rocking 6 attack dice at range 2 to 3. At range 1, it's rocking 7 with Swarm Leader if you optimize the effects. That is silly. Very cool, very synergetic if you're running a TIE Swarm with lots of cheap ships. Very cool. So let's check out Kylo Ren here. He comes in at 3 points. Imperial only. His ability reads, assign the I'll show you the dark side condition card to an enemy ship at range 1 to 3. So this is cool if you're not running Kylo Ren's ship, or you run him inside of the Lambda shuttle, or even in the TIE Bomber when it's outfitted to be a shuttle. This is going to allow you to get the I'll show you the dark side condition onto the table in a couple of different avenues, which is definitely cool. You could actually throw that into a Slave 1 as well. Interesting. Lots of cool things you could do with Kylo Ren, variety of ships to put them in. Now we've got the last of the crew cards, the Operations Specialist, limited, so only 1 per ship. After a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 performs an attack that does not hit, you may assign 1 focus token to a friendly ship at range 1 to 3 of the attacker. So it says after a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 performs an attack that does not hit. It doesn't say other friendly ships, so this could include yourself. So you could put this on the Lambda. But this also seems like it would stack well with Swarm Leader because, you know, you're getting focus tokens on the table that you could then eat up with Swarm Leader depending on order of operations. Or if you did Swarm Leader first, ate some focus tokens off of your friendly ships, then your friendly ships activate, you know, and they miss, then you could assign a focus to them, which would help them defend. So yeah, there's lots of little shenanigans and synergizing effects that the Upsilon shuttle can bring to the table. Now, if you guys watched my quad jumper video, I got a little bit flustered and confused because Hyperwave Comm Scanner has the picture of the Upsilon on it. One of these comes with the quad jumper, and I was confused. I thought it only came with the Upsilon, and they saw fit to give us 2. So this is a tech upgrade that comes in 1 point, and it states at the start of the place forces step, you may choose to treat your pilot skill value as 0, 6, or 12 until the end of the step. During setup, after another friendly ship is placed at range 1 to 2 of you, or range 1 to 2, you may assign 1 focus or evade token to it. So, this could stack well with Kylo Ren and setting up for swarm tactics, but more importantly, it's going to set up really well with Major Stridan. Because Stridan's going, you can make his pilot skill 0, place him first, absolutely, then place all your remaining forces within 1 to 2 of him, which can be outside your deployment zone. This does not require, or his ability does not require that they be, whoops, wrong one, sorry guys. Sorry, meant to say Lieutenant Dormits. Anyway, stack it with Lieutenant Dormits. It says during setup, friendly ships may be placed anywhere in the play area at range 1 to 2. So you make his pilot skill 0, deploy him first, and then you know that all your subsequent ships that are going to be deployed are going to be able to deploy after him. So you can place them at 1 to 2 of them, and then start the game with a focus or evade on them. Now, if one of those ships happens to be maybe Howl Runner with Swarm Tactics, now on turn 1, all of your TIE Fighters are starting with a focus. All of them can activate and then take a, and it says assign, so it's not a free action, so they can all take an additional action to have another focus token, so they're all sitting on 2 on turn 1, or they're all sitting on focus evade on turn 1. It could set up for pretty lethal or effective Swarm Tactics turn 1 Alpha Strike, depending on your positioning and your opponents. So definitely some cool shenanigans you can do with this, and it's only 1 point. You're paying 1 point to give yourself some flexibility for that turn 1. But after turn 1, this becomes irrelevant and useless because you've already used it. But 1 point to start the game with extra deployment shenanigans, I think, is worth it. Next upgrade is another tech slot, which we get 2 of. Targeting Synchroniser comes in at 3 points and reads: when the friendly ship at range 1 to 2 is attacking a ship you have locked, the friendly ship treats the attack target lock header as attack. If a game effects instructs that ship to spend a target lock, it may spend your target lock instead. So basically, what you could do is throw out target locks with the Upsilon shuttle first, and then use your TIE bombers and things like that to use the target locks to activate bombs. So that's just helping you out with that, I suppose. Yep. Moving on, Ion Projector. I believe we have seen this before. It comes in at 2 points. It's modification. It reads: after an enemy ship executes a maneuver that causes it to overlap your ship, roll 1 attack dice. On a hit or a crit result, the enemy ship receives an ion token. So basically, you'd run this if you want your Upsilon shuttle to be some type of blocking ship. Now, I think this thing comes with a lot of synergy. I think the targeting Synchroniser is going to scale or stack well with some of the options that let you throw out target locks from extended range, or bounce them around, some cool shenanigans like that. Like I have noted with some of the other ships from this wave, if you're running Canonical Devotion, or I'll show you the dark side, if you place these on ships, or if I'll show you the dark side or something gets placed on an enemy ship, make sure you don't forget to collect your cards at the end of the game. You don't want them to accidentally get shuffled in with your opponents. Also, if you don't want to place the cards next to a ship, you've got these tokens that correspond with those cards, and they can be placed instead. Make sure you keep up with them and don't lose them. You know, we know that if you've played X-Wing for any length of time, Passive Flight gives you an abundant amount of tokens and stuff like that. To conclude this video, I'd like to talk about how the ships look. X-Wing is very affordable, and for any of you guys who know me, you know that I like to paint, but when I've worked on commissions all day, it's nice to be able to sit down and play with some miniatures that are pre-painted and not have the stress of having to paint. These look cool, and this guy is a big old behemoth. I can barely keep him in the frame of the camera. So for scale purposes, this is a 7-rinse TIE Fighter. That is the difference in size. So, anyways guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I definitely would appreciate the support, and if you did not know, and you probably do, but if you don't, I do get paid to paint miniatures. If you'd like to have me work on something for you, please check out my website, thearmedpainter.com. I don't have as many X-Wing photos in my portfolio because I have not been commissioned to do very many X-Wing miniatures. I have painted some for myself and taken photos of those. I think they turned out well, though I do paint primarily Warhammer 40k and War Machine models. That said, fully capable of painting X-Wing and would love to work on some for you. Also, I have gotten into doing some live streaming on Twitch. If you would like to check me out over there, I'll be doing some hobby-related live streams, gaming live streams, and things like that, tutorials. Definitely would like to interact with you guys while I paint and game, or paint and game with you. So check me out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, happy wargaming.